How you act, think, and feel is your personality. And your personality creates your personal reality. If you want to create a new life and if you are not happy with how life is going, it's because of your personality. If you would like to change your life and the direction it's going in, then you need to create a new personality. A lot of people try to create a new personal reality with the old personality. They act the same, they feel the same, they think the same, creating the same experiences, making the same networks in the brain, and over again you start to create a program. It becomes a habit. You literally have to become someone else. Create new ways of acting, thinking and feeling. Here's a scenario for you. You go on a date and just like any other time you start to fill with anxiety because you don't like the silence in between talking. So you are not present during that moment. You are thinking of ways to fill that silence. Next time you've got to change that anxiety, change the way you feel, which will lead to new ways of thinking, which will lead to new ways of acting. When you see success with changing the way you act, feel and think, this will create new pathways in your brain. And the more you do it, the more of a habit it becomes, creating a new personality, creating a new personal reality. We've been taught from childhood that our authentic selves is bad. If you are authentic, then you are weird. You don't fit in. Society creates that belief that you should be scared of the person you truly are. That's how you get cast aside. That's how you don't have many friends. But that's it, isn't it? You want everyone to like you. You want a lot of friends. You want a social status. You want everyone, knows and likes me. I'm a twat. What brings happiness and fulfillment is being yourself. Everyone is chasing to be happier or happiness. And people think money will bring happiness. And to a certain degree it will. It can bring happiness in all sorts of forms like financial freedom, time freedom and location freedom. All lovely things which I do aim to achieve and you should too. But it's not the answer to truly being fulfilled. You hear all the time with these higher ups with billions and they're still truly not happy. Why is that? They've been living a lie their whole life. They got that money to impress other people that don't even like them. They don't even like their personality. They just like what they've got. By unlocking your real personality, you will attract a lot of people. Why? Because people like your authentic self. People will admire you, how open you can be, how authentic, and they wish to be like you. Just like you watch this video. Some of my videos won't interest you, but because I am open, I'm authentic with myself, you like to listen because of who I am, how I say things, my shit jokes, the times where I can't even speak properly. It gives you that sense of connection and admiration towards me. Your personality is actually a habit and you have learned since birth. Every time something positive or negative happens in life, that confirms your beliefs. My whole life have been told that what I think is wrong. Every time I had an idea, something to say, I was told, no, that's wrong. This is the way you should think. Every time I would get spoken over or say, no mate, that's wrong, I would instantly shut down and stop speaking and think, wow, yeah, they are right. I went up in front of my class while in school and during this presentation I was to read out what I had researched and learned. I was filled with anxiety. I would stutter, forget how to say words. I couldn't speak, I'd trip over easy words, all because I thought what I was saying was wrong. I got laughed at by my class because I read like a 2-year-old. And this was confirmation that, yeah, I was wrong. Scared to be wrong, scared to make mistakes, scared to speak my mind. This became a habit. It becomes automatic for you until you become aware of it. You have to train to not act unconsciously in the moment. The more you catch yourself, the more you develop and be able to be your authentic self. Just like training in the gym, you have to be able to train your mind and how you act unconsciously. Say something positive happens to you and you get people laughing at you because of the joke that you told. This will confirm that you are funny or you know how to make someone's day or brighten their day up with a good joke. It becomes part of your personality. It feels fulfilling. Pleasure is something we all want and it is necessary for life, but why do you lack pleasure? How many of you would acknowledge that one time in your life you had an addiction? What did it do for you? Numbing. When do people need to be numbed? When they go to the dentist for the pain, the procedure they're about to go through. It is a response to pain, to numb the pain you are in. You are in so much discomfort you don't know what to do with it, so you numb it. Whether you are numbing it through drugs, drinking, gaming, sex, whatever it may be, the addiction is an attempt to solve a problem, the problem of pain. So you have to be numbed. I numbed my pain of discomfort by gaming, drinking and drugs. The games helped me zone out and numb that discomfort of not being able to be myself. The drugs and drinking, as many of others will find, helped me be myself. It helped me be that person I wanted to be. I was 100% my real personality when I was intoxicated. But that does nothing for you because you start to rely on it to give you that confidence you lack. That personality that you lack. We're going to talk about stress for a moment. Stress is a big factor when it comes to acting unconsciously. The more stressed we are, the more unconscious we act. There are 3 components to stress: the external, what we see and experience, the physiological stress response like adrenaline, cortisol and the nervous system, and the final one, which comes before the physiological response, is the processing apparatus. This is you and I with our unconscious beliefs, our internal and emotional dynamics that we have no control over until we become aware of it. To learn from our unconscious behaviours, we have to be curious rather than judgmental. We can't ask questions like, why do I do this? This is more of a statement rather than a question. We are judging ourselves. We can't ask questions like, why do I do this? This is more of a statement rather than a question. We are judging ourselves and confirming that we are not good enough. Like, I am like this because I'm like this. We need to ask better questions, and I talk about this in my latest video about self-awareness, and I will post it in this video right here now. By asking better questions, it can lead us to a better understanding of ourselves. Better questions lead to solutions. When we ask better questions, it leads us to ways of thinking that provides answers. Like, how could I do better next time when I come in contact and speak to a stranger? Well, maybe I could speak more clearly and be more curious so I can learn more from them. Conscious self-criticism makes you worse. I have in the past struggled with speaking, tripping on words, stuttering and forgetting words. I was aware of this to the point it became debilitating, and I would be scared to speak to strangers, scared to mess up of speaking. It was from this anticipation of thinking I was going to mess up which made me completely stop engaging into conversations with people. This is the same with any situation where you are not yourself. This is the same for any situation where you are not yourself, not your real personality. You get scared from the anticipation of being judged, laughed at, talked about. It can be debilitating for a lot of people. But I noticed when I was speaking and in the gym, for example, this is what happened to me in real life situation, where I was in the gym and I had my headphones in, so I couldn't hear exactly how I was speaking, yeah? My music was that loud, and I knew exactly what they were saying, you know, by reading their lips, and they were asking me if I was using this piece of equipment, and when they asked that, I noticed, because I couldn't hear myself, because I couldn't criticise myself, my self-awareness, I couldn't hear how I was speaking, it just came out of me without even thinking about what to say. I was like, yeah, mate, you go ahead, you can use that, no worries. It just came out. I spoke louder. My voice was deeper. I couldn't hear fully what I was saying, so that self-criticism and anxiety of messing up was taken away. When excessive negative feedback or self-criticism is taken away, my performance improved. I also learned a technique called shadow talking. It is where you would listen to a voice reading some bit of text on your phone or anywhere you can think of really, or someone just speaking, and you try to follow closely as possible with them speaking, copying what they are saying and try and follow it as closely as possible. And while I was listening to this, it forced me to speak properly. I started pronouncing words properly. I became more clear in what I was saying. My speech was more fluent and it could roll off the tongue. I stuttered less, and overall I didn't mess up nearly as much as what I used to do. It freed me. I started to be myself. I started to believe like I'm not a fucking like I can actually speak. You can be so internal in means of self-awareness that the self-awareness becomes debilitating, and it actually starts to act against you when you start to make statements rather than asking good questions. Basically what I'm getting at is, if you want to be able to be yourself with everyone that you meet, first, you need to be aware of how you unconsciously act. And that's what this video is for, is to wake you up to stop acting unconsciously. Think about different situations that you engage in everyday life, and think of how the actions that you do that you don't really like doing. You might look down when you see a pretty girl. The next step is to question yourself and think, how and what can I do to change how I act unconsciously? Well, maybe you think you're not good enough for that pretty girl. Well, then you can change them self-beliefs so you are able to look at her in the eye. Or maybe I could start the gym and start taking care of the way I look and be proud of my appearance. Next, I would say reduce the amount of stress you feel. One way you can reduce the stress you feel during these moments and reduce just stress in general. One way you can override your stress response is by meditating and breath work. When we are stressed, our nervous system takes over, our heartbeat starts beating faster, our breath quickens, and our blood pressure rises. By breathing, you override and basically hack your brain, telling your body to stop doing what it is doing, lowering your stress, reversing the effects of stress, making it easier to be present and be aware of how we unconsciously act. These moments of success, of being aware and change how we act in the moment, will lead to developing new ways of acting unconsciously, basically developing a new habit, a new personality, one that is serving you in everyday life, helping you in social and business situations. I hope this video has made you aware and to be able to change the way you look and think about yourself. If you want to learn more about this and my situations in life that I've encountered around this subject, then join my Discord. The link is in the description. Do what needs to be done, not what you feel like doing.